But so you know the Maldi.
So how come we can see istima or istami'a? That would be.
We will see it. It will come now.
Okay.
So from isti'al, this is how you make Maldi. And the example is sami'a. So you say istama'a. And then from this to go to this form, we worked on it. And the way we did it was first we got rid of the hamza, or the alif, whatever you want to call that. And then you put ya, ta, hamza, or nun.
Yeah, and then just add
one of these, because this is the sign of mudari.
And then the endings.
And then the one before last, change it to kasra, whatever it has. And the last one, give it a dhamma. So how many steps? 3 steps, or 4 steps. Step number 1, drop the hamza from the beginning. Step number 2, add ya, ta, hamza, or nun, whichever is appropriate. Yastami'u, tastami'u, astami'u, nastami'u, whatever. Step number 3, leave everything alone and go to the one before last, give it a kasra. Step number 4, the last letter, give it a dhamma. From istama'a, that's how you make yastami'u.
So we don't know which one to choose from, right? Yeah,
you don't know, just like in yaftahu, you don't know yaftahu or taftahu or aftahu or naftahu. Based on what you want to say. Yaftahu, he opened. Taftahu, she opened or you opened. Aftahu, I opened. Naftahu, we opened.
So it can, anyone can be added based on the...
based on what you want to say. So for this you can make the entire 14 forms. And for that purpose you put ya, ta, hamza.
So what do we call the istama'? What form?
Istama' is Maldi.
But command, right?
This is called Maldi. No. Istama'. It's not istami'. We'll do that later. We haven't done the command yet. This is Maldi, Mudari. And this is Maldi from Ifti'al, from Istima'.
No, okay. So what would be the differences? The one was he listened and this is...
Oh, it's Maldi and Mudari. The difference between Maldi and Mudari.
No. Between this and then Sami'a. He listened, right?
Oh. So Mujarrad always has a specific meaning. Okay? Then you make it to Mazid for various reasons. One of the reasons is Ifti'al only. That's for Ifti'al. For Istif'al it may be something else. Okay? So, show acceptance is one of the reasons. To make Ism from Fi'al from Ism is another reason. To exaggerate is another reason.
So this is an example of showing acceptance.
Oh, those are general categories that are not always followed. Sometimes you change from Mazid to Mujarrad for a very unique reason. Okay? It doesn't have to be one of the reasons that we listed. So that's not very important. The reasons are not important. They just are helpful. That's all.
So does this also mean that he listened?
Yeah, in this case, for example, Sami'a means to hear, Istama'a means to listen. You know the difference between hearing and listening? Sami'a, you just hear it, and Istama'a, you attentively listen. Sami'a is to hear, Istama'a is to listen.
Okay, so it does have a different meaning.
Yeah, so it gives it that kind of a meaning, but it may not follow one of the reasons that we listed, okay?
So that literally means he listened attentively.
Yeah, Istama'a means he listened. Sami'a means he heard.
So istami'a is just the verb for to listen and it's in the mazid form.
Mazid form, yes. Istama'a, now since this is Maldi, how do you make it? Every Maldi has a Mudari', right? How do you make it Mudari'? 4 steps. Step number 1, drop the Hamza. Step number 2, add ya, ta, Hamza or Noon. Step number 3, go all the way to the one before last, give it a Kasra. Step number 4, the last letter, give it a So we changed this one, transformed it to Astami'u, Nastami'u, Tastami'u, or Yastami'u. Let's take from all of those Yastami'u as a standard. Yastami'u. So we did everything that we listed, right? We dropped the Hamza, we added a Ya, we changed the one before last to a Kasra, and the last one gave a Dhamma.
Can you repeat the steps again? Those 4 steps?
4 steps are: drop the hamza, step number 1. Step number 2, add ya, ta, alif or nun. One of those, depending on what you want to say. Right? You know what I mean by depending on what you want to say? No?
By
The person, the number, and so on, right? Like yadribu means, yaftahu means he open, taftahu you open or she open, aftahu I open, naftahu we open. So step number 2 is that add one of those instead of the alif. Step number 3, go all the way to the letter before last, give it a kasra if it doesn't have one already. Step number 4, the last letter, go to it, change its haraka from anything to a dhamma. So that's how you get, and this is not just for ifti'al, this is for any mazid. Any thulathi mazid, you can follow the same exact rule. Alright?
You have to remove the other, but then you have the other to do. You have to add it.
Oh, this is a different alif. That alif is different. This alif is for the first person singular. Like aftahu I open. That kind of an alif.
So how would this alif apply to
Astami'u. This alif, each one of these will have a fatha, which is different from that, which has a kasra. Istama'a as opposed to astami'u. So a whole lot of things are different here. Astami'u, the kasra and the dhamma, all of those things are different. So if you know this, these 4 steps you can apply to any mazid. And after this, you know that masdar is ifti'al. So how would it be from istama'? What would be the masdar? It would be
استمع
no,
استماع
ifti'al, right? It would be istima', right? So then, how about majhul? If you want to change it to majhul, you know some of the rules of majhul, right?
Yes,
Change everything to a dhamma. Every haraka, if it's fatha, kasra, or dhamma. Okay?
Except for the last one.
For madi, this is how you change from ma'ruf to majhul. Give everything that you see a dhamma, except the sukoon, leave the sukoon alone. And except the one before last, give it a kasra, and the last one, give it a fatha. Retain the fatha. So istama'a would
The
be...
last one you leave it as it is, whatever it has.
Yes. You leave the madi, the last one of madi always has a fatha, whether it's ma'ruf or majhul. If you want to make majhul from this, what do? You start from the beginning, you go all the way to the end, giving everything a dhamma that is not a sukoon. If it's sukoon, leave it alone. If it is anything else, give it a dhamma. The only thing is, when you reach the one before last, give it a kasra, and the very last, leave alone. Okay? So here we start. The first letter we see is Hamza. Let's give it a dhamma, because you have to change it. What do you do with Sin? You leave it alone because it has a sukoon. How about this ta here? Give it a dhamma. Change this one to a dhamma. Since Mim is the one before last, give it a kasra. Because we said the one before last, give it a kasra. And the last one, don't change. So this is your majhul. Istama'a to ustumi'a. Got it? Very easy.